good morning. Just waiting on Alex to join me and anyone else that wants to take part this morning. Gorgeous weather out there today. There you are. Hello. Do you want to come and sit here today? Are you happy there? Just see you next to me because Harris isn't coming today. Okay. Have a seat. You okay?
Yeah.
Good. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all well today. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day out there. Today I'm going to rattle through what we're going to do. It's going to be quite fast and quite furious. I'm going to throw quite a lot of instructions at you. But I'm not going to do a finished example today with you because I want you to be able to go away and take your time over what you're doing. And I've already completed my 2 finished examples. This one here. Admittedly, I've not done the front of the card because I'm not really going to actually send it to anyone. Alex does. And then we did this one here as well yesterday. As I said yesterday in primary 1 to 3, I haven't actually done this before as an Easter lesson. I've done it as a Halloween lesson. And this one here, I've done for sports day, where you have had little figures on the podiums. And I've done it for other things as well, Mother's Day cards I think as well, where I've not done eggs, I've done flowers. So there's lots of ways that you can do this. You don't have to do an Easter card. And this one I've done as ghosts and spiders and lots of different things as well. So you don't have to necessarily... What was that?
I don't like spiders.
I know you don't like spiders, darling. They're nothing to worry about. So yeah, so we're doing it as Easter today, but you don't have to do it as Easter. Auntie Jackie's watching. So you don't have to do it as Easter. You can always do it as Halloween. Auntie Jackie's watching you. Do the highlight of her day. She should be working. In fact, 2 SSC employees. Oh, I might have got you both in trouble now, Gaynor and Jackie. Maybe you're on your coffee. Are you both on your coffee break? Yeah, you both be on your... What time is it? Yeah, they're having their coffee break, won't they? They're not skiving.
Oh.
Do you think they're skiving? Or having
No.
a coffee? I think they're having a coffee. Hi. Right, let's get started. So, we're buffering. It's gone green again. We miss you too, Auntie Jack. Really, really miss you. This is awful, isn't it? Right, moving on from the sadness. So I am not going to do a finished example today just because I've done them already and I want you to be able to go away and have time to do this. But I'm hoping that you're all prepared with the paper that you want to make your card on. So I'm just going to use plain white. Alex is going to use... I've got your selection of colours here. Choose what you want, but maybe have 2 different colours for yours. What we'll do first of all is we'll do the step 1. That's the easier one out of the 2 of them.
I like that one more anyway.
I know you like that one more. We'll do this one first because it's the easiest one. And then if you're happy just doing that, you can go away and you don't need to watch the rest of it. Or you can come back later. Again, I'll be posting this live version after I finish. So if you have to go away and do anything else, then you can. And also I know that there will be some people right now who are still in bed and they'll maybe do this later on in the day or later on in the week. So I'm going to do this one first as a white version. Then you can go away if you want to and get on with it. Or you can stick around and watch how to do this one here. So first things first. Whenever you're doing a paper craft exercise, the most important skill that you have to work on is your folding and your cutting. Folding is really important. You need to get a nice crease. And this happened last Tuesday. And if I say that it has to be a perfect fold, then you have to go corner to corner with your fold. So perfect creases, really, really press your finger down on the crease. Sometimes back fold as well, so you get a double fold. And also, what was the other thing I was going to say? Cutting. Cutting is really, really, really important. Often when I see kids cut in school, they use the tip of the scissors, which is the least sharp bit. I'm pressing quite hard there. The least sharp bit of the scissors. Where you want to get your paper is right in at that hinge. And if you're cutting a curved shape, you want to stop this. Snip, 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 snip. And we're not hairdressers. You want to do long cuts. Long cuts into the paper, and you want to get your paper right in there next to the hinge and try your best to use as little cuts as possible. And if you're doing a curved shape, stop that. Try and turn. Internet quality again. Right, so first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold one of my sheets of paper in half. Just one just now. So I'm bringing it, I don't know if you can see that very well. Up a wee bit if that's okay, Alex. So one of your pieces of paper you're going to fold directly in half. So we're going to go corner to corner. We did this the other day. Yeah.
So this way.
Yeah. That way. corner to corner, and then we tippy toe our fingers into the middle. Okay, bring one hand down while keeping the other one at the top. Then bring your other hand down to meet it and really, really press down really hard, back and forth, and then back and forth. So that way you'll end up with a perfect fold. Okay, so this is A4 paper, by the way, going into A5, lengthways. So landscape ways, and now it becomes a portrait. So portrait A5. Okay? So just keep going back and forth. Get that crease really, really, really nice in there. Right, are you happy with yours? Okay, right. Now the next thing. To get your areas popping up, you have got to cut on the folded part of the paper for this to work. So many times I say this in the class and all the kids are going, yep, Mrs. C, get you. And then 9 times out of 10, at least 2 children cut the side that opens, so that when they open their card up, all of the cuts, all of the incisions are down the sides of the paper. You want your cut to be in the middle. So what you want to do is make sure that you're cutting into the fold. So before you even start cutting or drawing a line, double check that you are about to do it on the fold. So just run your finger along. If it can open, that's not the folded part of the paper. Now I'm going to use a ruler just to keep it super straight. You don't have to use a ruler, but I want to use a ruler just to make it super straight. Al, that's for you, and this is for me. Now what you're going to do, it won't matter, it's just for the lines. So what you're going to do is I always put my ruler against the edge of the fold, and that way it tries to stay at a 90-degree angle. If you don't, you end up with your lines being squint. So have the edge of your ruler up against the paper, and for one of my steps, I'm going to make it, let's make it 5 centimetres. 5, and then 5 again. Now I can use that ruler edge to help me a little bit. Yeah, darling, I'm just going to, don't speak to me just now because you're going to distract me. I'm going to show everybody what I mean. Okay, could you, along the edge of your paper, make 2 steps that go up 5. By the way, the size of this doesn't matter and the width doesn't matter, but I'm just doing it this way just now just because it won't be fragile then. So put your ruler against the, I've really folded that very nicely, really run your finger along that nicely. So put your ruler up against the edge of the paper, and I want you to measure to 5 on both sides. Okay, so you're looking for this for step 1, and just double check that when you open it up, it's in the middle of the paper, not down at the bottom or the top. Okay. A lot of maths involved in this today, so if maths isn't your strong point, if you're a much more creative person, you don't like measuring, you don't like straight lines, this might be a bit tricky for you. Right, well you'll need to do the same again, yeah. One more thing I want to say actually about the measurements is whatever the height of your paper is, do not make your steps more than half. There we go. Do not make your steps more than half of the paper, because when you close it, they'll actually pop out the top. So whatever the height of this line is, it needs to be less than half the width of the paper. That's really important. Right, so we're going to now do that one more time, further along the page. So again, you don't have to make this exact same height this time, however, by the way. This time I'm going to make my other one, let's just go for 3. 3 and 3. Oh, you'll find out in a minute. There you go. So I've gone 3 and 3, and then I'm going to put one in the middle. Let's make that one 4 and 4. Have a proper step thing. It's up to you the height of these and the distance that you make them in between, but just try and keep your lines nice and straight. Sorry, Alex, I've nicked the pencil. I don't know why I've only got 1. Should have brought 2 over. There we go. Okay, so you've got that and that and that. That and that and that. And it won't surprise you now to know that you're going to cut up those lines once you've done it. And try and keep your lines nice and straight. But you're just cutting up, you're not cutting across. You're not cutting chunks out of them, you're just cutting like lines up, like almost like fringing. But double check again that they are going to be in the middle. If they're not in the middle, it's not going to work. I've done 3, but it's up to you how many you do. Don't have them too close to the edge of the paper as well, because it might end up becoming quite fragile. Try and keep them in the middle, but also don't have them too close together. You want to have gaps in between your steps. You want to have some gaps in between them, but don't have them too close to the edge, because the edge of the paper might become quite fragile. So while Alex is perfecting his lines, I'm just going to cut up these lines. Lines. There we go. Right. So go up and stop as soon as you meet that edge of the line. You can have the scissors in a minute. I'm talking to everyone. There we go. Got to concentrate here. Right, so I've now cut all of those lines. Okay, apologies, my internet is not great. This happened last Tuesday as well. It must be a Tuesday thing. So I can see it goes orange up at the top, so I know that it's buffering. So I'll try, if I catch it with my eye, I'll try and stop, and it won't be as juttery. So that's going to cut up his lines as well. And now we're going to get a little bit more folding involved here. So we're going to fold up and really get that finger running in there. Not that bit, by the way, this bit. And then I'm going to back that on itself. So I'm folding in one direction and then in the other direction. Okay, so it goes a bit like that. Now the next one I'm going to fold. I'm going to fold that one now as well. So I'm going to bring that back over. Hi Sarah, I hope you're well. I've been meaning to say, by the way, that this isn't necessarily just for primary kids. So get that big girl of yours out of her bed if she's out of her bed and tell her I said hiya. And I miss her. I miss seeing her, but I like to get to see her little sister every day. Well, every day at school, so that's nice. There we go. So got that one. And this one. So back and forth and back and forth. You alright? Right, so you're folding back and forth, but it gets a bit confusing right now, so make sure you're folding. I know. It's getting, do one, leave a space, then do one, and then work your way along. So don't do that, fold that, then don't fold that, then fold that, then don't fold that, then fold that. So fold that. Right. Can you do it fast? No, I didn't ask you to stab it with a pencil. I've asked you to fold. You need to start speeding up a bit because we're always waiting on you. It's always you we're waiting on. Yeah? Left and right, left and right. Yeah, just remember I want you to get a nice fold in there, so really run. And the other way, just to make it pop, it makes it pop easier. We're nearly done, by the way. We're just waiting on the slow coach. Do you think we're going to fall out with each other today, Alex?
No.
No? Okay. No, it's okay. Too bad. Of course, remember, run that finger along the fold. Folding's really important here. Strengthen your fold, nice creases, and nice cutting. Makes the end result perfect. Right. Next up, when you open this now it's fragile at the minute, so be really, really careful. You'll notice you've got this. Oh, it looks like a wedding cake. Okay, open up. Just watch you don't rip any of it. Now, your card will open like this. Okay, so what you're actually going to do, hello Sam, is you're just going to pop these little bits in. Sam, I think we might have done this before in class.
How do I pop these out?
P5, I've got a vague recollection of doing this with you. So you're pushing it through from the other side.
Oh.
Okay, so open up like that. Everybody see Alex's? Open up like that and then get one of your steps. Push it in. It goes like that. Okay, let's see if you can do those two on your own. Right, so we have got this. Looks really interesting from the other side as well, actually. So what you can now do is, obviously if you gave this to someone as a card, you wouldn't want that. No, you wouldn't. So what you now have to do is, this is when your second piece of paper comes into play. So your second piece of paper, chuck that to the side for now. Again, go corner to corner. Bring your finger down. Really, really nice piece in. Okay, and then this nestles nicely inside it. Okay, can you see that? Okay, so that's the nestles nicely inside. You've got your front cover and your back cover, so you can decorate the front, you can decorate the back if you want. When you open it up, you then can put your eggs that you've cut out of other paper on top, or flowers, whatever it is, light bulb moment, whatever. Now, one last thing before we move on to the second card, because at this point I'm not going to decorate this, by the way, I'm going to leave this up to you. What I did last night was I actually tore the edges of my second paper just to make it look a bit more interesting, and also to avoid the edges poking out the front. So you can do that, or you can cut it with straight scissors or crimping scissors, or if you want to leave it the same size, leave it the same size. But one more thing that I just want to say just before we wrap up and do the next one. When you're gluing this down, don't pop those steps back out again. I've seen that happen a lot with kids. What I would do is, can you see that okay? I'm too close to the camera today. I would put the glue down on the paper like this before I stick it in, and I would only do one side at a time. Okay? Sorry, I'm distracted by my father. Grandad says that he's glad that I've got such a good looking assistant today. So handsome. Right, that one, and then that's open now. So again, put the glue on here. If you put the glue on your big sheet of paper that's not got the holes, when you open the card fully, or if you accidentally pop them like this so it becomes flat, these 3 steps will stick into the glue and it won't pop up anymore. So you're much better to put the glue onto the shapes that you've just cut out, the piece of paper with the shapes that you've just cut out. Okay, so you've got that, which now means that the front of the card gets your fantastic design, which we're going to talk about at the end. The middle of the card, you can design the bottom, the top, the flowers, the eggs. You can even put your marker stamp on the back. So that is a step-by-step guide on how to create something that will look a little bit like this once you decorate it. If you're planning on doing lettering, at the very end of today's post, I'm going to do a tiny little section on lettering, how to get your lettering spot on. Okay, so that is the first card, the white version, complete, ready for decorating. Right, moving on to the tricky one. Now Alex, it's up to you. Do you want to do the second one, or do you want to just start decorating that? The grass has to be green. You wanted the grass to be green? You should have thought about that earlier then. Right, let's move on to the hard one. So if you found that hard, you're going to find this one impossible. This one's really tricky, even for me. I got a bit fiddled up last night trying to do it. So, same thing happens again. You have got to fold your paper, and your folding has got to be perfect. It's got to be really strong strength fold. So what I'm going to do with my A4 piece of paper, Alice, why don't you just try it and then you can decorate that once we turn the camera off? Why don't you just try it and then you can decorate that when the camera's off? So that's the side just now. Right. So, same thing happens again. Corner to corner. Corner to corner. Tippy toe your fingers into the middle. Bring one finger down into the middle. Bring your other finger down to join. Fold that up. Okay. So you went from landscape into portrait, 50-50, and a really nice crease down the bottom. Now this time you're only going to do one cut, and it needs to be, it doesn't need to be, but I would make it roughly in the middle. Okay, now it's up to you how long you want your cut to be, but just like I said in step 1, card 1, don't make your cut bigger than half the size of whatever your paper is. So the size of my paper at the top is 15. So I don't want my cut to be any bigger. Half of 15 is? What's half of 15?
12.5.
No, it's not 12 points. I thought you were supposed to be bright. What's half of 15? It's 7.5.
Oh.
Mrs. Hodgkinson's always telling me how bright you are. Oh, God. So half of 15 is 7.5. So when I make my cut, I don't want my cut to be any more than 7.5. Okay, right, 7.5, half of 15. Right, so I'm going to make my cut about 5 centimetres. No, I'm going to make it 4. So roughly in the middle. Remember what I said about trying to keep your ruler straight. So have the edge of the ruler up against the edge, and I'm just going to measure. Let's go for 4 centimetres. But your cut will depend on the size of your paper and how big you want it to be. And don't forget, open up and make sure that is in the middle. If it's not in the middle, you're going to have a disaster. If you've got it there or there, then that's not the middle. Right, closing it again, and you're going to cut that. And remember, don't use the pointy part of the scissors, try and get your paper right in there. Right, we're just going to cut that now. Okay, and then stop as soon as you meet that line. Okay, so you got that. Okay, stop being silly. Right, next up what you're going to do, when you fold this, you're probably wondering right now, where on earth am I going to fold it? I don't have a clue, Mrs. C. So what you're now going to do is you're going to try and fold it so that it's parallel with the edge. So you're going to try and fold this so that the edge of the triangle, this line here, is parallel with the side of your paper. Like this. Okay, try and get it so it's parallel, so it's a 45-degree angle. Okay, what's that called? An equilateral triangle. Yeah, like that, and then do the same on the other side. No, that's it.
No, I mean,
don't fold it. Just take your time doing it. If you rush this, if you hash it, the result won't be great. So you've got that sort of thing. Okay, so you've taken your edges up, fold, fold. So you've got a 40, so it's parallel with the edge of the folded paper. Alex needs my attention. He hates this. Stop, chill out. Oh, you've used my bit of paper. That's okay. Right, because it was the same size as that one. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, right. So you're doing that, and then do the same with the other side. Now what you're going to do is you're going to back fold, because it's really, to get this to pop, you need it to be a really back folding it now, so that it pops out when you open up the card. So you're wanting that crease to be brilliant, really nice. Press, get all your impression out on it. Okay, right, have you done that? Have you back folded it? No. So it's like a hinge of the door.
no, I can't do it.
You can. There's the back on that fold you've just done. Okay. Remember to use your finger. Rub your finger on the crease. A finger, not your whole hand. A finger. Your pointy finger. That's it. Alex may find this a bit tricky. He's P5. I normally would do this with 6 or 7. So he maybe will find this a bit tricky. If you have P4 watching right now as well, you're going to find this really tricky. Right, we're opening it up now. With them closed, by the way. And what you'll find is, you can already probably see the shape forming. So now what you do, when you open it up, Alex, stop that please, is you just pop, I'll tell you what's easy to do, is just refold it. Is it working? So just pop those in, one at a time. This is when it gets a little bit fiddly. See how it's coming up? So maybe what the easier thing to do is, oh, worked. Okay, so maybe what the easier thing to do is with it closed, just sort of pop it up like that. Okay, so open it up, and then what you do is you just pop one with your thumb, really gently. Actually, we'll go another way from the So you open it up, push it in, just that bit. You've not done the best folding in the world. So push that in there. Okay, and then look what I do again. Take that from the finger, push it in. Okay, push your mouth. You've done yours quite close to the top. Okay, so we've got this. Right, you can leave it like that now. You can draw the eyes, you can draw the figure, you can, if you want to, cut it out. So you can cut out an oval shape with the fold in the middle. Alex, just think, please, this is the crucial bit. Or, if you want to try and do pop out eyes, like I've done, stay tuned. So if you want to do pop out eyes, I'm going to show you how to do that. If you don't, and you want to draw your eyes, then just bear with me for a few seconds. So basically, now what you do, when it shuts, it'll have a triangle cut out of it. Okay? Now, again, you're going to do that step one more time, but you're only going to do it once. And decide where you want the top of your bird to be. So the top of my bird's going to be here. At that side. Stop. Fidgeting. Okay, so I'm going to close it. And what I'm going to do is I need to make my cut really small this time. So maybe just 1 centimetre. So again, on the, now that will be 1, 2, 3, 4 bits of paper you're going to have to cut. So it's going to be quite hard to do. But again, try and keep your ruler so it's a 45-degree angle. You're just going to make a wee line like that. That's only 1 centimetre, and you'll notice the angle is about 90 degrees. Now you're going to cut this. But it's going to be hard to cut because you've got 4 bits of paper folded together here. And it's also going to be really, so again, just cut to that centimetre. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to fold them back one at a time. Again, 45 degrees, 1, 2. So what will happen is it'll start to look like that. Don't know what kind of shape that is. Okay, so that when you open it up, you can see those lines. So now what you can do is you can pop your eyes out. Fold it back. Don't forget to fold it in 2 directions. I forgot to do. So fold it, make sure you're folding it in both your directions. Monkey see, monkey do. Okay, so when you open up this time, the eyes should pop out quite easily. 1, 2. 1, 2. So when you close it, just I thought my fingers are too big for this. I need smaller fingers, Alex. I'll do it in thinking. Okay, right, we're there. We're done. Got one done, not the other. Okay, so there you go. My eyes now open. Right, so next up, you have got a choice. You can either, I posted some illustrations earlier that I stole off Pinterest, where people had just painted this when it was finished. They didn't actually cut it out. So you've got a choice with this the way it is. You could leave it flat, you don't need to cut it out, and with oil pastels or paints or whatever, you could paint the bird shape, you could paint a background, you could paint a sky, you could put legs on it, you could do whatever you want. Or you could cut it out like the one that has been done in here. I just tore that. If you want to do that, while it's shut, draw the shape that you want it to be. So for example, while it's shut, just draw maybe half an oval shape. No. And I tore it just because then it gave it, if you've seen any of the artwork with primary 1 to 3, you know that I love to tear paper to give it a fluffy edge. I don't really like cutting out if it's for things in nature, like trees and plants and circles. Okay, so when you open that up now, oh, it's a bit chubby, isn't it? Maybe just make that a bit thinner. Ah, it's not my chubby chicken. It's maybe been in isolation. Right, so chicken. Where's the steps gone? Where's the step card gone? What's over there? What you would do if you nicked my card, but you could use a sheet of card. Okay, so that then sticks inside your second piece of card. Alex stole mine, so I can't do it. So you then could stick it inside. I don't know if that's going to be the right size. You could stick it inside something like that. But again, remember to fold it. When you add the glue on here and here. Don't add it onto that and then try and stick it on, because when it opens fully, it becomes flat again and the triangles will stick down on the card. Right, so in 25 minutes, I've managed to show you how to do the step card. I've managed to show you how to do the bird card. I'm expecting numbers now to plummet because that's just kind of done. If you want to keep watching, if you find lettering tricky, keep watching for a few minutes and I'll show you some tips. Alex, do you want to go away now? Or do you want to stay? Or do you want to stay and do lettering, or do you want to go away? Okay, lettering. Okay, right. So, when I am in the classroom, whenever I'm doing posters, cards, any graphic design, whenever I give the kids a piece of paper, I'm just going to fold this in half just now because Alex wants to join in. In fact, I'll use that, I'll use it again. What I tend to find kids do, if this was their poster, and if they have a really big word to do, like for example, I don't even know how to spell at the bottom of this. If they wanted to write Happy Easter, they might do this. Actually, that's a terrible example. It's back to front as well. Huh? So you'll see that the letters are all higgledy-piggledy. As I got towards the end, the spacing has disappeared and the R's become quite squashed. And the lines, the letters aren't above each other. Okay, so it's not very neat and tidy. Also, when I find that if I ask kids to do bubble lettering, they struggle with that. So it gets even worse, yes. So, yes. So it gets even worse when they're doing bubble wrapping, where you get crisscrosses over. They don't know how to do it. And then often what happens is they rub out, start all over again. S's are so hard to do as a bubble.
No, they're not.
And then, oh my goodness, yeah, that's a better example now. I've run out of space, I'm just going to put my R in there. So that's often what I also see happening as well. Okay, so spacing goes, the edges go, you don't end up with nice space, and also you end up with this sort of thing where the letters have crossovers, and S's are quite hard. So what I always do when I am doing lettering is I first of all put finger spaces, or 2 finger spaces where I want the edges to be of my lettering, okay? Second thing that I would do is work out roughly where the middle of the paper is. So I would put a really, really light line down the edge of the paper. That's my midway line, okay? Then what I would do, and I'm rubbish at maths, but I would work out how many letters are involved. So happy has got 5 letters. The middle letter is P. So I know in the middle of that halfway line, I need my P to go. Okay? I also know at the left hand side, I need my, and I also know that at the end of the letter, at the end of the word, I need my Y to go. Then I know in those 2 spaces that I've got left, I can do my A and I can do my P. And I'm doing this really, I normally would do this really lightly with pencil, but obviously I'm trying to show you, so I'm pressing a lot harder than I need to. So I end up with that. Now, below that, I've still got my finger space. Yeah. Yeah, you did that, was so nice. Easter goes below that. Okay, so again, work out what the middle letter is. Now Easter's got even numbers, it's got 6 letters, so there's a space in the middle. So that means that right down that line there's no letter this time. But on either side of that I need to do my 3 letters. So what I'll do is I'll do my E, below the H, my A, my S. So it all fits in. If you are still really, really struggling with this, in the space that you've got left, that's your midway point there. You know that your last E goes there. So put your E in now. And then you know that you need to put your R and your T there. Now you'll notice they're just single lines just now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you would make that a bubble letter. Now, keep these letters in the middle of your bubble, okay? And again, I'm going to maybe do it with a pen so you can see it's a little bit easier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw around those letters. So my H, and the pencil, remember, should be so light that you can rub it out. H becomes like that. You're drawing around that letter. I just thought this might be a good thing to do because I know that a lot of you are probably going to do lettering on the front of your card. So the A, the pencil lines are in the middle. The P, the letters are in the middle. The other P and the Y. Hang of this as well, you might even want to start changing the way you're doing your letterings. You might want to make them 3D, you might want to make them more rounded, whatever. I'm going to go back to that S because the S is quite hard. You're basically adding tails and legs on every time. Okay, there you go. So I'm not going to keep going because it's getting quite boring for me and you probably. So that is it. Showed you how to do lettering, how to space it out, work out where you want your spaces to be, midway point, how many letters have you got, split them down the middle, try and keep your spaces the same, try and keep them the same size, showed you how to do the 2 pop-up cards today. It's been really, really, really busy, it's been really, really, really technical. I hope you've managed okay. I will be back on Friday with a much more expressive out there lesson. You will need some cardboard for that, you will need some masking tape, drawing materials like paints or oil pastels, or if you are like me, chalk markers, my favourite, well, one of my favourite tools in the world, things like that. You'll need glue, you need scissors, so you need all that for Friday, and Fridays is much more fun, much more expressive. It's for everyone from nursery up to secondary. It's actually not very technical at all. So that'll be Friday. Next week we will still be doing some lessons. I'm not quite 100% sure yet. I've got some plans in. there'll probably be spring lessons next week. So I think at the minute, Monday's looking like doing a collage lamb picture for the little ones, and maybe doing some 3D more. Let's do more paper 3D actually, seeing as we've been doing that this week. Let's maybe do some paper 3D flowers. Don't know. So we'll do that maybe next week. But as per usual, please post me your photos. Just try and keep your faces out. And thank you to everyone that watched this morning, and thank you to those that are maybe catching up. Have a lovely Easter when it comes. Don't forget to post me your pictures. Don't forget to give me some feedback on how it was. Is there anything that I mucked up on, anything that you didn't really understand? Just message me. I've got nothing else to do today anyway. And don't forget to send me finished examples, because I really, really want to see where you've gone with this. Are they chicks? Are they bunnies? Are they eggs? Are they flowers? What's going to happen? Did you use paint? Did you use paints? Did you use oil pastels? Did you muck up? Did you have to do it 3 times before you got it right? Okay. Lots of love. Have a lovely remainder of your Tuesday. The sun is shining. Get outside and get some fresh air. That awful wind's gone away. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.